All right, everybody. Today we have Sean from Comics and Crypto and Sergio here with us, and we are going to talk future of collecting. We are going to talk Fanable. And guys, great to have you here. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having us. This is fun.
Thank you so much, Jan. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about what we have cooking up for the community, especially with Sean and Comics and Crypto. It's a very special moment for all of us. Comics and Crypto has been doing so much for the community, and to be involved with them and kick things off with them, it can't get any
good,
better than
right? Feels good, huh?
Seriously, yeah. This is
yeah.
amazing.
So, what I know about Fanable is that it like combines the best things from both worlds, the digital and the physical stuff. So, in my understanding, you can own a physical copy of a comic, a game, a VHS tape, whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And then this piece or this collectible will be stored in a vault, right? And you get a digital certificate which you can like easily trade and sell and also redeem. Is it right?
Man, you nailed it perfectly. I think the interview is over. We don't have to talk about anything else, right?
I've prepared. I've prepared.
No, that's exactly right. As you said, we take physical graded, kind of like these types of collectibles that are authenticated by CGC, Beckett, PSA. We store them at a Brink secured vault in New York City. And from there, the user we digitize them, scan them, assign them to a user's profile if they send the item in themselves. And they can trade them from there on and do many things with them. And I'm sure we'll talk about those details because it's things that you can't really do in the traditional Web 2 space.
Yeah, okay. But it's just graded stuff, right? If I understand correctly?
Correct. Only graded. We only take graded. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because of the value preposition, is it the right word? Behind
Yeah,
it? Because
I
at
think
the
that's a good way
ungraded.
to put it.
Go
Absolutely,
ahead.
yeah. It's the value, and really to preserve the. I mean, everyone has the. If I've been in the comic book collecting world for many years now, and everyone has a different idea of what their copy of a comic book should be graded at. Is it a near mint? Is it a should it be a 9.8? Should it be a good condition collectible? CGC takes that away from, it takes that out of the conversation. And so we want to make sure that what you see is what you get and that it's been authenticated by a professional company whose job it is to do exactly that and give an unbiased opinion as to what the condition of that item is. So absolutely, we want to make sure that we preserve that.
Okay, great. And then it got stored in a vault in New York. Was it New York?
Correct. In New York City, Brinks Vault. And
Yeah.
Brinks has been around for well over 100 years. Even today, I stopped by the pharmacy today at Walgreens, and I saw a Brinks truck right outside.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah.
They're everywhere, right? Most banks use them, so people are very familiar with Brinks. When they generate a shipping label to ship their collectibles to Brinks, they'll see a Brinks address so people know that's where they're sending their collectibles to. And we don't handle the collectibles ourselves. That's something that a Brinks staff member handles. So we never take custody of them.
Yeah. And so all the insurance stuff and the custody is on their side, on the Brinks company, right?
Exactly. It's all on them. We pay them to insure the collectibles that are stored in the vault, but they handle all that. Yeah, all that's handled by them.
Okay, that was a good first impression. But Sean, let me ask you, how did you get involved? I know what you do right now, but we will talk about this later with the curation stuff of the comics. But what was like the first? What was Sergio's first pitch to you, and what were you thinking about it?
I was familiar with this kind of technology through other websites as well,
Yeah.
but for me, man, because Courtside has done this for cards, but I have never seen it for all other types of mediums like VHS tape and comic books, which is a really important need right now, especially if you're a really big collector. It's pretty overwhelming sometimes if you have a lot of collectibles, especially VHS tapes. That take up a lot of take up a lot of room in your
Yeah.
house and
Yeah.
your
Yeah. They are kind of clunky, right?
It can be for sure.
Yeah.
Having an opportunity to be able to send it somewhere where it's safe and secured, and also insured for free, is mind blowing to me. And on top of that, you get really awesome high res photos and a 3D model for free of your
Yeah.
collectible that you can share and showcase and promote.
I,
It's really awesome.
sorry to interrupt there, but I have a question to the on the topic of the 3D model. Is the 3D model a 3D model of the actual collectible, of the actual comic, or the actual VHS tape, or is it computer generated?
So I can answer that. So what we do is when the collectible arrives at the Brinks facility, one of their employee takes that comic book, right, the graded comic book, and scans the front and the back using an industrial scanner. I mean, it's a
Uh-huh.
huge scanner, very high end, and then our rendering team takes that image of the scan and applies a 3D sort of model to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
exactly, and it uses that exact image though, right?
Yeah.
So
So the front and the back are the exact collectibles. So for example, if you have a 1.0 grade and the first page is like really looks kind of shitty,
yeah,
you would see that on the 3D thing, right?
100%, yes. You'll
Okay.
see that
Yeah.
as well on the 3D. In fact, we even the label, the CGC label at the top of the comics, that same exact label with the same exact certification number that's linked to that collectible is also presented. And on the product page of Fanable, when you go to that items page on Fanable, you'll be able to click on the certification number and it takes you to CGC's certification of that particular collectible. So it's a one of one. We don't simply just take a scan of Amazing Spider-Man 252 and reuse
Yeah.
the same one for other ones. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah. Got
unique,
it.
all one. Yeah.
That's
Great.
why it's
That's
important
that.
for the collectibles to be graded because they have their own certification number.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can identify each individual item. And also very important too, so everyone out there knows, because I know when the 3D models were first introduced and explaining this is NFT technology, people got confused because I saw Hulk 181,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sergio,
Yeah.
yeah, and people got it mixed up with, wait a minute, what about Veve's NFTs? They're totally different. Yeah, these certificates represent the physical, so the NFT is always tied to the physical that's stored in the vault. That's
Yeah.
really important that everyone knows that. So when you're seeing the digital 3D model, that's actually the actual physical represents the physical of being stored in the vault in bricks. So
Yeah. Okay. I didn't get that when I did my research. So great that you clarified it. So
yeah,
sorry.
Sergio, did you have something to add? Sorry, I
Well,
think.
Ah, okay.
no, Sean, it's so good that you brought that up, right? Because we presented that whole 181 comic, and it did stir a lot of conversations. This was a few
Yeah,
months ago, and that prompted us to sort of rethink how we convey the message to people, right? And that's what had me thinking about our new sort of tagline, right? Own the physical, trade the digital,
Yeah.
because up until that point, it didn't seem clear that people understood what the proposition here is. And
Yeah.
so we started kind of making sure that the communication that goes out, people understand that there's a difference between just a digital NFT, which I love. I'm a big collector on Veve, on McFarlane Toys Digital, on Candy Digital. I still enjoy it. I still go there and participate in drops. I participated in the Rogue drop a couple of days ago, right?
Mhm.
But it's important that people understand that that digital collectible you own on Fanable is backed by a physical collectible directly.
All right. Perfect. Great that you clarified that as well. And just to get a little bit more context, who owns the company?
So Fanable is part of Eternal Labs. Eternal Labs has been around for some time. You know, one of the companies that is associated with that is Eternity, which has done NFTs of Lionel Messi, Muhammad Ali, Shaquille
Mm-hmm.
O'Neal. And so in the NFT sports world, a lot of people collected on there. So this is a separate project, but it comes from Eternal Labs. And so this is how it all came about. They approached me about this Fanable platform, explained it to me, um, and I fell in love with it. And I've been very hands-on from the beginning, along with our co-founder Alex. Who's sort of, yeah, he's sort of he conceptualized this whole thing. I'm basically here to helping him fulfill
Yeah,
his
perfect.
dream. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
exactly,
Exactly, yeah.
precisely.
um, okay, get me onto the on board. I'm a new user. You have like the first big drop. I mean, you've tested the capacity of the app, right? In the last couple of days, weeks. I'm not sure about that.
Last couple of months, about a month and a half ago, roughly, we had an alpha test drop with 15 people and 30 collectibles. And that
Yeah.
was our just invite only. Very few selected individual were handpicked for that. And then three weeks after that, we had a beta tester drop. Again, invite only, and but we broadened it more. We had 100 collectibles in that drop, and we had at least 50 participants. I can say that with
Mhm.
confidence because the limit was 2 items per participant, and it
Yeah.
did sell out. It sold out within a couple of hours.
Hmm. Great. So I mean, you've guys done the stress test, obviously. So and
And it's
on
been
the
stressful, very stressful. It really
yeah,
has.
I can imagine that honestly.
You know, the stress test drop revealed a lot of things that weren't quite apparent at the
Yeah.
beginning, because now we were looking at the typical user, not just insiders or people that are in the space, but the real type of users that we expect to see this Thursday, right, on April
Hmm.
3rd. And they sort of exposed a lot of things within the platform that still needed to be worked on. So we had to hire another developer just in the last couple of weeks to help speed up everything so that
Yeah.
everything's
Okay.
ready for this Thursday.
Yeah.
But certainly it was the feedback wise was the an eye opening experience.
Okay. Great. So if I am a new user, how do you guys onboard me? So I can just go to the app, create a profile, I guess, and then participate.
You know, obviously in the Web3 space, right? It goes from, seeming like a chore when you go to OpenSea and connecting a MetaMask wallet, right? To super easy like Veve, right? Veve makes
Yeah.
everything so simple. And we wanted to sort of mimic a similar experience as Veve in terms of the user experience being very easy that anyone that has no knowledge of Web3 is able to go in and not really think about blockchain, NFTs,
Yeah.
transfers,
Great
and all
choice.
that.
Great choice.
Exactly. So the only thing you need is an email. You get the email, you'll get a I think 4 or 6 digit code sent to your email account, and that's how you log in. Boom, you have an account, you have
Yeah.
a wallet address in the back end that's connected to your profile, and that's all you need.
What what kind of payment methods do I have? Can I pay just with euros, dollars? Can I maybe pay with crypto, USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever?
Good question. So I'm glad that you brought that up because on April 3rd, right, we're launching only in the US
Yeah.
market initially, right? But we will be, I mean, it's already in the works. And in fact, this has always been sort of part of our strategy to expand internationally because of the feedback we got from the beta testers. That's been sped up significantly because now we see the demand is really truly there to go global, right?
And what,
Um,
sorry to interrupt, but what are the hurdles making it global right now?
Mainly experience with the logistics process. For example, with the beta test drop, we encountered many issues with the shipping process and even the rendering process. We don't want to immediately go global
Yeah,
when we're sort of
got it.
barely just handling what we have right now.
Yeah,
Once we refine that process and we do at least 50 to 100 shipments, and we feel good for it, then we can go ahead and expand globally. But
yeah,
it's not so much a capability thing because the logistics are there through Brinks. They already support global shipment. It's more of we want to make sure that we're servicing our collectors well without too many issues.
yeah, got
With
it.
the beta test drop, it felt overwhelming, and that was just 50 people. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
imagine what it would be like if we just go global from day one. So we want to make sure that we refine the process. Back to your question based on payment. So on the iOS Apple Store app, which is a native app, and the Google Play Store app, you can pay with credit card. You can play with Apple Pay or Google Play. I'm not familiar with Android, but whatever their
Yeah,
version of
yeah.
Apple Pay is, yeah. And then Klarna, Klarna is a lending
Yeah, I know
platform,
Klarna. Yeah,
so people can also pay with Klarna. For anyone wanting to use USDC cryptocurrency on the Solana network, on the Ethereum blockchain, and Polygon, they must use the desktop version. We cannot support crypto payments on the native mobile apps, but we
yeah.
can and do already support crypto payment on USDC on the desktop version.
Okay, great. That sounds good. Great that I asked that question because I wanted to know that. Yeah, Sean, go ahead.
One more thing as well, using credits on your account, right? Yeah. So if you sell a
Correct.
comic,
Yeah, you can use your balance.
you can use your balance. So if you sell a comic book on the platform, or if you go through one of the drops and you get something really nice and you're able to
Yeah.
sell it, and you'll get credits on the account which you can use towards future purchases.
Okay. Or I can sell it out to my bank account, right?
Mhm.
Yes, you can cash
Okay.
out.
Yeah, cash out. That was the word.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. To cash out, we use Stripe to do all of our cash out, right? So you must comply with KYC requirements to cash out. So I want to make that clear as well.
And
Yeah.
you only need KYC to cash out, or I believe to sell as well. Is that right? Is that correct, Sergio?
I believe so. You know, I might have to double. You know, if Alex was here, he can answer that in an instant. I'm more
Yeah.
of a front end person. He's more of the back end
Oh, yeah.
person, where he gets into all the details. But I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
But most importantly, you still can participate without KYC.
Yeah.
And
Correct. Oh yeah, yeah, you
yeah,
can.
I want to make sure we emphasize.
Yeah. So KYC gets relevant after I bought or sold something, right?
Right.
Precisely right. When you're looking at cashing out, you do need KYC. That is a
Yeah.
requirement by
Yeah.
Stripe.
Yeah. I mean that's totally normal, I guess. Um. Okay. Let us talk about the upcoming drop. It's on April the 3rd. And Sean, I know you were kind of involved into this, I guess, big first of a kind drop on the platform. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Sergio came to us and talked about this idea, and it was really fun. And we were kind of brainstorming some ideas to for this drop specifically. We were brainstorming ideas of how we're going to approach it and what kind of comics we're going to get. We wanted to create some kind of theme around it. So for us personally, we love Veve obviously, and it would be fun it's always fun to see people match their digitals with their physicals. So I mean, this isn't exactly tied to Veve at all. This is something that we just did on our own, but we did some research and found 75 comic books that are on the Veve platform that people are going to be able to potentially get on the drop. So every comic book in our curated drop is also available on the Veve platform as well. So to make it a little more fun for everybody who clicks on Veve, but the comics themselves are really, really, really great. So we're really stoked for it. And this particular curated drop is very special for us because this is the last project that Kevin worked on. So we're really excited to have everyone get to experience this. It's been in the works for a few months now, so it's been a really fun process. By the way, Fanable has been amazing to work with throughout this entire process, and the result looks incredible. The pack looks phenomenal. We've had a chance to see the actual unboxing experience, which I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but it looks freaking amazing. The team that worked on that and everyone that worked on that, big shout out to them.
And I've heard there are different unboxing animations. Is it right? Or is it the same unboxing?
So every drop on Fanable will have a custom made a mystery case that's basically wrapped to reflect the theme or the curator. Some drops will involve curators like Comics and Crypto. Otherwise, other drops will be just themed by Fanable staff ourselves. And so you'll see that every mystery case has a sort of a custom made wrap for it. In the case of Comics and Crypto, actually, there's something that none of the mystery cases that we've created so far has. And so when you open it, you'll hear something special. I think I don't want to spoil too much, but
don't do it.
It's
don't
very
do it.
unique, even in that regards, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see the Comics and Crypto branded case, but you'll also see other things in there.
Yeah. All right. And to go back to the items we are probably getting or you curated for the drop, what are like the grails? What kind of pieces are in there that like every collector or most of the collectors want? Sean.
Yeah. So the grail, the biggest chaser, is Amazing Spider-Man 252, which I know everyone on the Veve app is familiar with.
Yeah.
I remember when that broke the app because they had like only 1,000 editions or something like that. Which at that time, remember, this was when we had
when we had
many
the hype.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. When we had the hype, and so it kind of broke the app.
Yeah, exactly. So that one's fantastic. It's also signed by one of the artists, Klaus Janson, and that's a really special piece. And it's graded 9.8, which is really special. And then we have some other really nice chasers as well. There's a Ultimate Fallout 4 9.6. It's the cover A. We also have Amazing Spider-Man 300, which is also 9.0, I believe. It's 9.0.
That's right.
Yeah, and some of the other really cool chasers as well. There's an actual Veve comic, Amazing Spider-Man comic. The original cover art was by Frank Miller that was released at New York Comic Con last year.
Yeah.
That's signed by Frank Miller. That's a 9.8. And
then nice.
Yeah, an Amazing Spider-Man 252, the original Veve cover physical artwork, which was released at San Diego Comic Con last year. And that's signed by Dan Crothers and David Yu. And it's a yellow label. And it also has the Veve logo label, which is really right now. It's next to impossible. So super cool that this is an option for someone out there to nail this comic.
Yeah, and also I think this comic book with the exact label could also like play a really significant role in the future if Veve becomes a household name and a global company, right? So there's also like the appreciating aspect behind this comic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are just of the 75 comics, by the way.
Again?
Those are five actually.
Yeah.
Of the 75 comics that are going to be available on the drop. So there are a lot of other really great ones as well. So we're really excited for everyone out there to once the news comes out.
I guess now after 25 minutes, everybody who's watching is fired up and hyped and just wanted to know how much is it to participate and how many items can I purchase? Can I purchase, or how many are there? It's 75 then, right?
Correct. They're 75, they're $99 each.
Mm-hmm.
And we did put a limit cap of three collectibles per person, three cases per
Yeah.
person. We went back and forth, but we want to keep it as fair as possible so that one single whale doesn't go in and buy
Yeah.
10
Got it.
mystery cases, and
Yeah.
then, other people won't really get a chance, right? And so, right, we capped it at three purchase limit per person. Based on the initial response, I'm expecting this to sell out relatively quickly.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Even if you like get all the Veve fans and Candy Digital and all the other collecting fans you guys have together, I guess there will be definitely 75 people who will buy this thing.
Yeah, and it's interesting you mentioned that because I come from the VV community and the Candy Digital community. I minted a bat cow
Yeah,
on the very first day, and so, but what I've seen is that Fanable is cultivating. We're cultivating our own community of people that are really passionate. If you go to our Discord, you'll see the conversation of people that really get the concept, love the idea. And so, even though we're all part of the same sort of umbrella, right?
yeah,
We're kind of creating our own identity, no different than Candy has its own identity,
yeah,
McFarlane Toys Digital, and Vivi. But already we're seeing sort of the Fanable fam sort of becoming a thing in its own, really.
yeah. That's
And to
great.
add, and to add to that, for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been really trying to figure out how there can be a really solid bridge for physical and digital collectors. I just really didn't know how it was going to play out until Fanable came
Yeah,
across.
and now
And
you're part of it.
I know, yeah, and now I understand. This is definitely the bridge because it's an immediate need for physical collectors, and they're going to understand what it's like having a digital collectible in your pocket at all times, essentially. But what's special about this is that they're actually physical collectibles, but you get to have access to them in your pocket at all times, which is wild.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
to really simplify it, I mean, essentially, and I was talking to Sergio about this the other day. It's like you put an item, a really valuable item, inside of a bank vault, and you don't have access to it. It's safe and secured. It's insured, but you don't have access to it at all times. Like if you want to sell to somebody, you got to go back to the bank and take it out. But here, it's the same idea, except you have access to it at all times. You can showcase it, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can transfer it. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. So,
and
you know,
in case I land a comic where I'm like, holy shit, I was looking for this one my whole life. Can I just have the digital certificate version of it, or can I also order it to my home to display it like this in my real home?
That's a very good question. So you open a mystery case, you get a comic that you fall in love with, and you want to hold it in your hands,
Yeah,
right? Then you have to redeem that physical collectible from the vault. But once you do that, the NFT that's associated with that, it's burned permanently. It no
okay,
longer
yeah,
exists. So right, that's something I'm glad you asked that, right? Because yeah, once you redeem it, it burns.
yeah,
yeah,
It's
okay.
gone forever.
Okay, let's take a look at the other case. I buy something and I get a comic I don't like or I already have. What are my next steps and what are my opportunities I have now?
You have several options, right? You can obviously just hold it in your collection, but if you're not interested in doing that, we offer a 90% buyback, instant buyback offer that stands for 7 days after you reveal it.
Yeah,
So if you open an item, you want liquidity, right? You just want to, let's say, sell it back to us by a tap of a button the moment you reveal it. You can basically, yeah, recoup 90% of the value of that collectible. You know what? I want to clarify on that because You pay, let's say, for the comics and crypto drop $99 to participate, and you land a comic that's $1,200, which is the Grail value,
Yeah.
right? We'll buy it back from you at 90% of that $1,200,
Yeah.
right? On the flip side of that, if you get a comic that's $75,
Yeah.
right, that's
Obviously.
value, we'll go for you 90% of the value of that comic. So it can go in either direction. And of course, you can always trade it if you feel like, you know what, I don't, I'd love the 90% offer, but I believe I can get the fair market value from another collector. You can list it in the marketplace
Yeah.
and have somebody else buy it from you.
And to take that even further, you don't even have to open the packs. The packs each have their own mint number, and you can resell the packs on the market in the marketplace,
Yeah.
or you can just hold on to it and collect it themselves, which I plan on doing. I plan on
Yeah. I
keeping
mean,
one.
I mean, for you, it's a special thing, right? Because I think he designed the box, right?
No, that was the Fanable team,
Ah,
but
okay.
Kevin, some of Kevin's artwork is actually on. Sorry, so, go ahead, Sergio.
Oh no,
Yeah, that
it's
was the
really
question with the artwork of Kevin.
Yeah, so that so
Okay.
the logo and also the sticker of our three faces, that was original artwork of Kevin's.
Yeah.
So that was really special to add that on there. And Sergio contacted me and asked about it. I said, "Would you like that on there?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, yes! I didn't even think of that." Among some other really cool things that you'll still find out during the unboxing experience.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really special that he asked about that, and I'm so happy because it looks amazing on the box. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, we work with a design team. Their name is Impossible Brief, and we get input. In this case, we get input from the curator. But I also create a brief um, based on the theme of the drop that I provide with them. And then we go and make some revisions along the way until we feel like it really captures what we want to convey with that particular drop, right?
Yeah.
So starting April 3rd, we're going to be doing weekly drops. So Comics and Crypto is the first one. And then a week after that, we have another one and so on and so on. So it's
Okay.
every drop has its own unique case design. And it does take a lot of, it's a lot of work, because you want to make sure that it really conveys what you want it to based on the theme, but it's also a cool experience too.
I mean,
Yeah.
and you guys are not doing it for free, right? So if this will be successful, you will get your piece of the pie, I guess.
Yes. So there are marketplace fees. I'm glad you mentioned that, right? So when people sell stuff in the marketplace on Fanable, we collect a fee on each transaction. And that goes starting at 9% all the way down to 7%, depending
Hmm.
on the activity that each collector has on the app. So there's levels, right? So if you buy a lot in the marketplace, that fee gradually goes down.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
right, but so yeah, we have a business model. There are a lot of costs to this, and we have to recoup the investment somehow, right? There are a lot of
Yeah,
salaries
definitely.
to pay. Yeah.
Totally understandable. Sean, yeah?
But most importantly, it's still way cheaper than going on eBay and selling collectibles on there. And on top of that, you don't have to worry about shipping. Sometimes people can get scammed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the reality of whenever there's money to be made, there are scammers out there. You don't have to worry about that on Fanable because it's a direct transaction. It's an immediate transaction, very similar to any digital collectible marketplace, except
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about shipping. So even this is why I'm so excited for this to go international, because international collectors, there's a massive barrier to entry for collecting. It's such a shame to see, even not even just people who are scamming, but even when you're trying to send collectibles and they go through customs. I remember seeing a story, and actually that was a friend of mine. It happened to my friend. I didn't realize this until I talked about it, but there's an article about this, a graded a graded Pokemon game,
Yeah.
a Game Boy game that was worth around $5,000, and it was destroyed by U.S. Customs
Yeah.
because they just wanted to look inside of it for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. A friend,
Ashton,
a friend of mine is really big into Pokemon cards as well, and he had the same experience. That he sent stuff away and it got lost during the. Yeah.
exactly, and that actually happened to me recently. Well, not recently, about a year ago. a friend in the Veve community lives in England, and he asked me to buy. He bought a bunch of Pokemon cards, had them shipped to my house, and said, "Can you just put them together and mail it to me?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem. I got you." So he did that, and I sent it off, and 3 or 4 months later, it never showed up. It never showed up.
A lot of
So,
money lost, right?
well, and I went back to the post office, and apparently it was sent back because some paperwork wasn't filled out. And I said, this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is an
Yeah.
awful experience. You're not going to be able to enjoy these collectibles like that if you're going to go through these kind of situations. So Fanable that solves that. And if you do want to send it, you always can cash out and redeem it, obviously. But in the meantime, you will have ownership of it and access to sell it or trade it, or whatever you want to do in the meantime, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
You know, and just to piggyback of what Sean just said regarding shipment, um, on the app, so when you open the Fanable app, on the at the bottom navigation panel, right in the center, the moment you press the shipment button, you go through the process of we walk you through that process, and you don't have to pay anything to ship it. So we create a
Mm-hmm.
label for you, which you can generate and print out at your home, or you can simply scan the QR code at your local post office, and if you have a kiosk like we do in many places around here,
Yeah.
it'll just print out the label for you there, and all you have to do is slap that label on the box. And so
So
there is no
easy.
cost to ship. Yeah, easy peasy. Even if you don't have a printer at home, just scan the QR label at the post office, print out the label right there, and just slap it on the box. There is a shipping cost when you redeem it. So whatever that cost is to ship the item, that's what is charged when upon redemption. But there is no cost to ship.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right, guys. Before we wrap this thing up right here, I think we gave the viewers everything they need, but maybe there's something else you want to add to make this drop on the 3rd of April, the best drop for everybody who's interested. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, you go. Actually, Sean, yeah, please.
And again, I have to emphasize how special this was for us to be a part of this, being able to handpick every single comic with Fanable, and it was a really exciting experience for us and very memorable for me, especially for with Kevin. You know, this being his last project, and I'm just really excited for everyone to be a part of it. It's going to be really, really fun. He would have been very proud of the way everything turned out.
Yeah, and it's been such a wonderful experience working with Comics and Crypto on this collection, and that they embraced this concept from the get go. We couldn't have thought of a better partner to be involved with to launch the app. So we're very grateful for them partnering with us, right? I've known Sean and their team for for a while now. We met at the New York Comic Con a couple of years ago in person. He met my father, you know. I take him with me at these Comic Cons, even last year's Comic Con. But it's just so perfect, right? We're all part of the same community, and we're looking forward to just delivering on a great experience for collectors. And so yeah, thanks for anyone that participates and gives us a chance.
Great. Last thing, time, date, and where to go for all the people who want to participate. Please just say it again.
This Thursday, April 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. $99 per mystery case, only 75. That's all there is. And once they're gone, they're gone. Please try out our app.
Perfect. Great, guys. For everybody out there, go to this drop, participate if you're interested in comics, or at the moment it's just comics, right? Yeah. Yeah.
At the moment,
Yeah.
yes, and there are other categories such as video games, trading cards, VHS tapes, and toys that we have, and there'll be drops in the future for those categories as well.
All right, guys, you've heard it. If you are a collector, Fanable is the right place for you. And if you enjoyed this episode and you got value out of it, please let me or let us know with a comment, a like, or a follow of the account. And yes, we will see each other in the next video. See ya, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.